What's going on, everybody? This is J. Ruth Gaming. Welcome back to the show. In this week's podcast, we look back on Week 2 of the fantasy football world, and then we dive right into Week 3 and all our predictions for all the games. So sit back, relax, and have a great time. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Connor, thanks for flying in, man.
Yeah, always.
Always, or out of towner.
Getting a lot of miles.
Before we get into anything, congratulations on our box break, man. You did pretty well.
Mac attacks, baby.
Mac attacks all day
Love some Mac
long.
attacks.
Give your cards early. We figure keep them off camera, keep it more just the fantasy football world. We'll deal with the cards a different day.
It's a good call.
So, what we're going to do is, at the start of this, we're going to go over what we are most disappointed with for Week 2 and most impressed with Week 2. So, just kind of go through two games. Why don't you kick us off here, and then I'll lead in after you.
So, I think the thing that surprised me the most was the Jets pulling it off. Not only pulling it off against the Browns, but Joe Flacco is like a top 3 quarterback in the NFL right now.
Do you keep him in? Or do you?
I think you have to.
Or do you keep, get Wilson in there?
I think you have to keep him in. He's got like 650 yards. Like, I don't think you can take him out.
I agree with that.
I think the thing that disappointed me the most was the Rams. And I think it disappointed me the most because I wanted the Falcons to win. But like the Rams almost lost to the Falcons, and you can excuse it against the Bills now that we know how good the Bills are.
Very true.
I've said in the beginning I think the Falcons are dangerously underrated.
Very dangerous.
I think that that's still true, but like they almost pulled it off.
Just absolutely insane. We talk about here on the channel. We talk about all different forms of fantasy football, survivor pools.
Yeah.
The normal ESPN leagues, whatever it is, the FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever it is, and we try to bring up highlights all throughout the podcast. That was one. If you were on the Rams, you were sweating.
Yeah, for sure.
The Falcons coming back.
I
was.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, that'll do it. Yeah.
I was.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
That explains your reaction a little more.
Just a little bit. All right. So I was most impressed with the Eagles. So
fair.
I'm an Eagle fan. I'm realistic with it. I did not think they were going to win that game. They won it, but it was just all around a unreal performance. The offense, the defense playing man coverage, slowing down the Vikings offense. Now, I was most impressed with them personally. So,
I mean, that defense looks good. Darius Slay, man, like...
You know what, though? He's gotten burned so many times.
I know.
So, like, to see him actually shutting down Justin Jefferson,
it was really good.
It was unbelievable.
It's a really exciting team, and like I don't know, we saw a lot of jokes today about Bills, Eagles, Super Bowls. The potential.
That's a joke.
No, not even team on team, just fan base on fan base. How it was like a bunch of guys flying off of ladders through tables.
That's hilarious.
It was like I don't think the country's infrastructure is ready for
an
Eagles-Bills Super Bowl.
But I want to see that now. That's amazing. So the game I was most disappointed with has to be the Colts.
Yeah.
Has to be the Colts. Like, for me anyway. Like, just Matt Ryan, that improvement was supposed to be a Super Bowl upgrade for that team. I don't know what's happening in that organization, but oh my God, if you're an Indy fan, I actually feel for you, because if I was an Indy fan going into the season, I would be like, yeah, we're a guaranteed division win. Yeah. Right? We're in playoffs no matter what.
Right, you'd think.
You can't get a win.
Yeah, and you can't even score points. You not only can you not get a win, you can't score points.
It's crazy.
I don't understand it.
It's crazy.
I don't understand.
Overall, though, pretty good week 2.
That poor defense.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Not bad week 2 though. So we're gonna focus on week 3 now. So this part of the podcast, we're gonna go through literally every game, talk about a couple key points, what we see, what we're liking, and then at the end we're going to talk about Connor's bold predictions, which you went 2 for 2 last week.
I did go 2 for 2.
Went 2 for 2.
I was very excited. I almost went 3 for 3. But
it was close.
Dolphins-Ravens game was just such a blowout. So I was almost there, but Lamar etched out to a little bit.
It was close though. It was close.
It was.
I don't know. I might get that a win because you did pick Tua over. I don't know.
I mean, he had 6 touchdown passes.
6 touchdowns.
So
it probably depending on which scoring format.
True.
You might have won.
Yeah, we'll call it a 2.5 out of 4.
I'm fine with
That's
that.
cool. I'll take that.
It sounds better.
That's great. All right, that works.
All right. So we kick off this week with Thursday Night Football. Yeah. Your boys, or wait a minute, are they not your boys anymore? Last week you entered the season, or week 2, as a Steeler fan. Yeah. Are you still a Steeler fan going into week 3?
You know, I have to.
Let's clarify that.
I have to be always, no matter how mad I get. I always have to be. It's a terrible offensive team, and I don't know where the blame is. Like, I don't know if it's... I almost like last week I blamed Trubisky, and this week I watched play calling that I'm almost positive you could have handed me a blank playbook in Madden, and I would have created a better scheme for that talent than Matt Canada did. So maybe it's not Mitch's fault.
Maybe not. Listen, there's a lot of new faces for both the Steelers and the Browns. So, talking obviously strictly Steelers, there's a new quarterback, a couple new faces offensively, a couple faces gone
it's
offensively.
Tough, and they're like not. They're relying on Freiermuth a lot. They aren't like involving Pickens so much, the wide receiver Pickens in any real way.
They're not. But and a lot of people were big on him going into the season, too.
And in preseason, he looked incredible. I mean, Pickett to Pickens looked deadly. It was a really good combination. But, again, I don't know if it's Mitch or I don't know if it's play calling.
It could be a little bit of both.
And it sounds like from their Twitter, Deontay's Twitter, Chase Claypool's Twitter, it sounds like it's play calling.
Really?
They don't seem to be blaming Mitch so much as they do saying, we can only do what we can do with what we have.
That's interesting.
So, they're going to get crushed. By the Browns.
You do?
Yeah.
You think that?
Yeah.
I think that as the timer's recording, I actually have the lines up here. They actually have Cleveland -4.5. Do you think that's fair?
I think that's definitely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, like, their defense is good.
Okay.
And then they get to the fourth quarter and they're tired. Even without TJ Watt, they're still performing.
You know what's funny? Before the season started, we have said that this would be the week to pick the Steelers against the Browns.
Yeah.
That's totally changed in 3 weeks.
I think so, 100%. Yeah, they should have beat the Pats if they could have rested their defense, and if they did.
It was a tough game to watch.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. And they didn't. So I think the way that the Browns played the Jets, I think they're going to get crushed.
Wow. There might be a change of title there in AFC North for the power. Let's put it that way.
And I don't know who it's going to be.
I don't know. I think the Ravens are one injury away from being rock bottom, truthfully.
I think so, too.
I can't ever... Predictions coming in were 10-plus wins for the Ravens. I just don't see it.
I don't either.
I just don't see it. All right, let's move on to our Sunday's games. The first one is the Eagles versus the Commanders. Your boy Hurts doing good, but...
Love it.
Is it going to be real, though?
Oh, it's real.
You think? Remember, I'm an Eagles fan, and I'm like...
I 100% think it's
real. It's kind of one of those things that I think a lot of Eagles fans are like, yeah, cool, I'll believe once we win the Super Bowl.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that, like, he's consistently good. He showed that against the Vikings. Like, I think that was a big make-or-break game for him, and I think he knew it. We talked about last week that they played the Lions in week 1, and they tested some stuff out running-wise.
For sure.
They didn't test anything out last night.
No.
Nothing.
No, they played good all-around ball.
Yeah, so I think, like, they're settled.
For sure.
You know, Carson Wentz is good.
I've been saying it a lot. You've been probably sick of me saying it by now, how much I like Wentz in the fantasy football world. That's about it. Just, he's a cheap player, and he scores a lot of points.
He does.
I think their running back, JD, is going to score a ton. Eagles have a problem with receiving backs.
Yeah.
Now, Dalvin Cook is a good back overall, obviously, but he's more of a runner first.
The power back, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, Swift with Lions, go look at that spread.
Oh, yeah.
He did very well.
Yeah.
So I think a cheap option, if you guys are interested in a lower running back, is actually JD. I think he's going to do good. Logan Thompson, too, might be... he might get some late targets because I think the backers are going to be very confused on who to focus on.
Yeah.
The tight end or the receiving back out of the backfield.
Yeah.
So I think high-scoring game.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I don't think it's going to be a landslide out. I think it's going to be both are going to be just slinging the rock.
I think it's definitely a toss-up of who could win. I think they both... Carson Wentz has something... Carson Wentz has a chip on his shoulder.
100%.
Jalen Hurts has a chip on his shoulder.
Yep.
I think we're not going to get as crazy as a game as we got out of the Ravens and Dolphins.
Agreed.
But I think it's going to be Browns-Jets. that last minute sort of 35-31 or whatever that final score wound up being. I think it's going to be closer to that.
Whoever turns the ball over less in that game, I think is going to win.
And who has it last, probably.
Probably. Yeah. It's going to be a very critical game. It's going to be a tight chess match, I think, the entire game.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it, though.
Yeah, I definitely agree with
that.
It's
the 1 o'clock game, so that's pretty cool. All right, moving on. Texans versus the Bears. I have a lot to say about this, so you go ahead first, actually.
I mean, we talked about it before we hit record. Like, the Texans keep losing games that they shouldn't lose. And it's not like their fault. Like, it just sort of keeps coming down to this thing where it's like, well, they have the tie, right? It's the tie and the loss.
They do.
So they're not winning games. They should be winning. I should rephrase that. And it's like not their fault. It just sort of happens in like this last minute. They like can't close it out for whatever reason. And I don't know. I think like, I mean, if Fields is gonna have a game, it might be against this team, but like the Texans could easily just be like, nope, we're doing it.
I think it's gonna be nope, we're doing it.
Yeah,
I think for whatever reason, like in my head, I'm gonna try to get my words like right here. You're pretty good at completing my sentences here, so you might actually do this for me.
Okay.
Right now, the first 2 weeks, I see the Bears as this. I say this to respect Chicago, like this kiddish group.
Yeah.
Of athletes.
Yeah.
And in Texans, whether they're the right age or not, I just see that they're more mature. Even just Mills compared to Fields, they're in the same class.
Yeah.
I just, for whatever reason, I'm viewing them as just different leagues right now.
I think like,
and I think that's why the Texans are being just. No one's taking them serious, and when they come to town, it's like, oh wow, whoa, hold up, Texans are decent.
The Texans had that like whole coaching situation fall through, and they wound up with Lovie Smith, which is like, oh no, not one of the best coaches in NFL history. Right. The coordinators, whatever, however you want to say it, but little bit of a revenge game for Lovie Smith too. Here, like Lovie Smith is the old Bears coach, took him to a Super Bowl, got fired after a couple years. Like, if, it's back, to your point of them sort of being an immature team, does Lovie Smith take advantage of that and get his first win as the Texans head coach?
The Bears are -3 in this game. I actually think the Texans are going to win by a touchdown or more. I really, really do.
Wow, 7+ points.
I just do.
All right, I can see it.
It's bold. I know you're the bold prediction guy.
Yeah.
But it's just something that's screaming, Brandon Cook's going to have a monster game. Mills isn't making mistakes.
True.
He's not making the winning plays.
Yeah.
But half the time with young quarterbacks, just don't mess up.
True.
We'll handle the organization, the team will handle the rest.
Yeah.
Just don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
He's not doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, my eyes are on the Texans.
It's fair.
I think there's a lot of cheap players there that can go off.
I mean, listen, man, I love Lovie Smith. I love defense. Like, you know that.
Yeah,
like, defensive football is like the whole reason I love football.
Absolutely.
Lovie Smith is one of like the best defensive minds ever, and I'm a huge fan of it. So let's go Texans.
I'm with you there. Sorry, Bears fans. All right, Raiders, Titans. These just they need to figure out what's going on. Both of those organizations are 0-2. I think big disappointments for both teams.
I think Raiders get the win here, though.
I think they have to, because the way that the Titans lost to Buffalo was in the passing game. So Titans, with losing A.J. Brown, I know they drafted Burks to try to replace that, and you didn't.
No.
Not happening. He's good, but to replace A.J. Brown is tough.
For every Titans fan who was confused and could not figure out what was happening when that A.J. Brown trade went down, I feel bad because it completely crushed your team, the outlook of your team. And you know what? I'm glad. I mean, they put Malik Willis in yesterday just to get some reps because when you're down that much, why not?
You might as well.
Good.
100%. Good call.
And if you're gonna do that, take Tannehill out, put Malik Willis in, lose, just get crushed all year, and then draft him a weapon.
Absolutely.
And then go with it.
I think there may be 2 more games to that.
Probably.
And then it's we messed up.
Yeah.
So you know what? We're going to split it. Split the halves. Say, listen, Tannehill, we're paying you.
Every game's a preseason game.
Just literally go play the first half, which would be interesting. I would love to see a team do that. Just listen, we messed up. We need some big holes to fill, but we're not risking injury for any of our players. So we're going to split games. We're going to try a totally new offense that no one's seen before. We're going to have 2 separate offenses. We're not fun. We're not fun this season. If we win, we win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to go out there try
it out.
We're not fun. We're going to do different stuff. So
probably the best way for them to figure out what their talent is behind. Like 100%. You know.
No, I do think this game has a lot of fantasy value with Carr and Adams.
Yeah.
Every time I see them, I just envision 2 angry people that love each other from college.
Yeah.
And now they're like, yo, we need to, like, this is like, I can picture them just brawling out.
For sure.
And just be like, yo, we need to, like, you need to have, like, 8 touchdowns this week. Yeah, cool, let's do it.
Yeah, I think this is for sure the week that they're gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Titans have the... I
Firepower.
think the Titans are confused.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think they know what to do. And that's not any
their
knock
safety
at
net is
Vrabel.
gone. Their
But their
safety net is gone.
And, like, it's easier to defend Derrick Henry when you don't have to defend a passing
100%.
game. It's scary.
100%.
You know?
Stack the box. Stack the box. Yep, absolutely. Next game, Chiefs and Colts.
Chiefs, move on.
It's just it's that simple.
There's no
right?
fantasy value in the Colts at all.
There's not.
There's not.
JT, I don't think he's going to do well this week. I think they're going to be behind a lot. So maybe Ryan, maybe a couple of the receivers, because I think he's going to pass the ball a ton.
Dude, like, I took a chance on Paris Campbell just because, like, they didn't have receiving targets.
Right.
And he looked at him once.
He
can't get the ball out.
No.
There's just no, you know what, maybe, Taylor was, like, the number 1 running back ranked. Like, I'm not going to, like, sleep on Taylor.
He's done well, too.
He's done well, like, but he has to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the whole team.
So
kind of like Barkley with the Giants. You know what I mean? Like, right now, it's just him.
Yeah, so I think that, like, there's no, outside of, if you have Taylor, you have Taylor. If you're going shopping, don't get any Colts player.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there.
Yeah.
I think Chiefs by a mile.
Yeah.
I think Chiefs are going to be like potentially like the Bills this week, where their players don't even see the fourth quarter.
Do the Colts score points?
Yes.
You think so?
When the starters get kicked out.
Mo Ali Cox almost had one.
Really?
Yeah. He couldn't get a foot in.
Yeah, I do think there could potentially some scoring, but I think it's going to be a slaughter. I really, really do. So, I agree. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I think this has the potential to be the game of the week. Potential.
Okay.
Bills and Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit on the other side of that. No disrespect to the Dolphins at all.
Mm-hmm.
That was an insanely fun football game.
Mm-hmm.
Tua is shutting me up in every possible way.
Now, every true quote-unquote professional has said, well, yeah, anyone could throw 2 wide-open receivers.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens' defense was terrible.
For sure.
But
Bills are definitely different.
The Bills are definitely different. I think that Tua and Tyreek Hill probably have good games.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, Mike Gesicki might have a good game.
Mm-hmm.
He started to target him a little bit in the end zone when he needed someone to go up and get it.
True. Yep.
So I think maybe that's someone that you look out for.
Mm-hmm.
I think from a game standpoint, I think the Bills continue their reign of dominance.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
So you don't think it's close at all still?
No, I think Tua's gonna get hit by Von Miller once, and then he's gonna get hit by Von Miller again. And then I think he's going to be like...
Those deep bombs are not going to be there.
And I don't think that's going to be available for him. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do over the... I don't think we shoot these early in the week, so there's some injury reports that are obviously not out yet.
Yeah.
You guys are seeing this on a Wednesday, so some of the lines aren't out either. So I'm assuming the over/under is going to be quite large, I would assume.
I would think so. I mean, especially after what the Dolphins and Bills are coming off of.
Yeah.
Like, how can it not be?
How can it not be? So I'm excited just to watch it because the Dolphins have... If I'm in that coaching locker room, I'm trying to coach my players to say this is a must-win game.
Yeah.
Right? It's obviously not, but to make a statement in that division, we need to at least keep up.
Yeah, 100%.
We need to keep up.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to really look at this aggressively. And the same thing with the Bills. I think the Bills are going to be their coach after and tell them, listen, we can't let the Dolphins have a chance because look what they did to the Ravens.
Yeah.
Keep going. So maybe that's a reason to get every Bills offensive weapon you could on your teams because they're not going to let up into the fourth quarter because of what happened with the Ravens.
I think, from a standpoint as far as coaching goes, I mean, you're looking at probably 2 of the top 5 smartest coaches in the NFL, which is, like, also another thing. So any of those, like, we could sit here and talk about it forever. They're probably going to have game plans that we can't even imagine And, like, this game could be a complete toss-up. And I think, just from a fantasy value, Raheem Mostert seems like he's, like, 100%. Even though Chase Edmonds is, like, doing good catching balls out of the backfield, Mostert seems like he's the guy, like, the running guy.
Could be.
And he's fast, and, like, they're going to need a fast running guy.
Especially some quick options, too.
Yeah.
Especially if the pocket's closing quick.
Yeah, so maybe look for Mostert on your DFS or your waiver wire
Could
or
be
whatever.
Cheap.
Yeah.
Could be cheap.
Yeah.
All right, Lions, Vikings. This is gonna be interesting. This is just like the last game we talked about division matches. A lot of division matches.
There is a lot. Yeah.
If the Eagles were able to shut down, this is what fears me about the Vikings. I had the Vikings winning that division. I did. I'm gonna stick with that for a couple more weeks. But the Eagles did give the blueprint out on how to slow that team down.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Boy, oh boy. And I don't know, the Lions have a good rusher now. I don't know if you know about that. But Cousins could have a problem. I don't know, though. At the end of the day, though, look at what Green Bay did to the Bears. It's division games. Do all these matchups really matter, or is it just, no, we're the Vikings. We beat the Lions every single time. Deal with it.
I don't know, man. I mean, you and I keep talking about this of how much, like, we love the Lions.
Absolutely.
Like, so.
Absolutely. We're wearing blue, man.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm wearing blue.
You're wearing blue, yeah. I don't know if this is like a game that I can't figure out because Justin Jefferson could have 250 receiving yards.
Easily.
Or
Two.
Aiden Hutchinson could absolutely brutalize Kirk Cousins and it just be over. Now, I know he's got some sort of lingering injury, Hutchinson, so I don't know if that's going to, like, affect the game at all, but yeah, this is another toss-up. Like, when it comes to these division matchups, and you and I have talked about this for years, like, always use the Steelers and Ravens as an example. Like, you know, sometimes those games are like 6-3, and
it's
nothing happens.
I will say St. Brown from the Lions is getting a ton of targets.
The Sun God?
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable.
And Jared Goff looks like an absolute Hall of Fame quarterback throwing to him.
It's crazy. So, if the Eagles were able to spread the ball against the Vikings, a lot of points were scored for the Eagles. It might be smart to get St. Brown because every week his price just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah.
The leagues don't want to give him the top dollar for those
because
it's the Lions.
There's bias there.
He is projected 20 points like every single week in most PPR formats. So an interesting pickup there. Ravens, Patriots. Does Belichick slow down Lamar?
I can't imagine. You know what though? Like the Ravens keep doing this thing where like Duvernay. Incredible.
Love him. He's on my team.
Why is he incredible? Like it's like one of those things where it's like that's like
he's fast.
He's fast. He's the return guy.
Yeah.
He returned that touchdown. Like you get him in open space, he's gone.
We were doing our box break, not to talk about the cards, but we were doing our box break. And literally, that's the first thing I see. I had a monitor going in the background, red zone on mute, and all I see is him running there. I was like, yes.
Running up the field.
Yes.
There he goes. Yeah.
Yes, he's my wide receiver 3. Perfect.
The Ravens can score on you in the weirdest ways. They can also, I think it was right before we went on or maybe earlier in the podcast, they also could completely fall apart at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. I think this is the game where if you're a Patriot fan, you are holding your breath the entire game. I think you have control of the whole game.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's going to be a slow-paced game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be successful with that. And I think it's just going to be contain Lamar. And I think it's just going to be how many big plays does the Ravens have? Because that's, I think, the only chance they win is one or two big plays. But I think it's going to be low scoring for sure.
I think it's definitely going to be low scoring. The weird thing about the Steelers-Patriots game is that the Steelers should have won it a bunch of times.
100%.
Like a bunch of times.
100%.
So like
you're holding your breath the whole game.
Yeah, so like it's definitely going to be one of those where like the Ravens should have won it, and maybe they don't, but they have the tools that the Steelers don't have of a guy that can pop off a punt return for a touchdown and just crush
a game changer.
Yeah,
a game changer.
But you know this. While we're like approaching this matchup with what we just saw with the Ravens defense, and I know this is going to make you groan a little bit, but Nelson Aguilar just had 120 receiving yards.
Yeah, but that's a fluke.
And the Ravens defensive backs proved that they don't know how to cover anybody deep. So that might be a person.
Does Mac Jones earn his credit?
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing. You know, you're going to.
Does he earn his
You're going to throw it to wide open receivers. Anybody can throw to wide open receivers.
I love Mac Jones. All right, so he's going to have a big week this week. All right, next game. Bengals versus the Jets. Wait, let me rephrase this. The 0-2 Bengals going against the 1-1 Jets.
Weird. And it's the offensive line.
It's
it. Like, it's the offensive line.
Clear.
It's
clear.
like, that's the problem. And I feel bad for every other position group on that team. The Jets win this game.
I think so too.
Like,
the Bengals are favored, but I think every analyst in the world has to favor the Bengals.
Yeah.
Who's going to favor realistically?
Champs.
Who's favoring the Jets?
Yeah. Joe Flacco. Like, and it's like it's a bunch of guys that, like, again, like, it's Flacco, it's Wilson, it's Ty Conklin, it's like Breece Hall and Michael Carter. It's like a bunch of guys that people don't want to put a lot of stock into on the field that they'll put stock into in fantasy.
Yep.
Like, Ty Conklin had 14 fantasy points last week.
100%.
Yeah. And
100%.
they're going to get C.J. Uzomah back, maybe for this game, which is, again, is another little revenge game situation. Yep. Like, so there's a lot to look out for in this game. And I think, like, if you're looking for a tight end, because, like, it's a weird week for tight ends, Ty Conklin, if C.J. Uzomah doesn't play, Ty Conklin is in double-digit points every week.
This was the game I had starred next to for fantasy football players, for cheap players from the Jets. If you're looking for an expensive running back, I think Mixon's going to have a big week since Chubb beat up the Jets 3 touchdowns. Hunt even had a good game. So I think Mixon will have a decent game there. In my opinion, obviously the line is completely different. But I think there's a lot of cheap players here that, once again, no one's valuing unless you're in the fantasy football world. Right?
Yeah, I don't trust the line on games like this. Like, they're not going to look at this matchup and go, the Jets.
Trust your gut a little bit.
Just trust your gut.
Like, you don't want to say, like, when you look at that game, right, at least for this season, like, we say Jets.
Yeah.
But you look at the line, it's like, Cincy -4.5. Oh, okay. No. Our gut's saying Jets for a reason. Just be real about it.
Yeah.
Next matchup, Saints and the Panthers. Saints just lost. Oh boy, a tough one to Tampa, I guess. 2 top dogs of the division. But when I look at this game, I see if the Saints kept it close against Brady, they have to blow the Panthers out of the water.
Yeah,
Do you feel the same?
Yeah, the Panthers are having that same sort of offensive line issue. And it's to a point now where I'm starting to feel bad for Baker Mayfield because, like, he's just gotten no protection. Like, almost his entire career.
Do you think if he did have protection, he'd be... Where would you... If he had...
I think if you put him on the Dallas Cowboys right now, he's probably throwing for 350 yards a game.
Okay.
I mean, again,
so,
like...
above... Like... a tier 2, like a tier 2.
Yeah, like 15 to 8 every week probably, I think. But, like, again, he's running for his life. He's, firing it down to Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson catches the ball, fumbles the ball. Like, it's just, he's not like, he's got McCaffrey there. He's got guys that are helpful. And
he has weapons.
He's got weapons. It's just like, I don't know whether they're not utilizing them well enough or he just can't get 5 seconds to himself back there.
Probably that.
And, there's a lot of offensive line issues in the NFL this year. I think that's one of them. But again,
definitely one of them.
I'm sticking by Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's like ranked like 58 this week. Like, no, man. Like, yeah, the Saints are a great defense, but like, there's no way they get 0 points.
No, they're gonna get points.
I'm sorry, 0 yards. There's no way the Panthers get 0 yards.
Right.
Like, they're gonna get the ball out. They're gonna throw the ball. They're gonna score maybe once, maybe twice.
Who wins the game?
Saints.
What?
Probably by at least 2 possessions.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
They are going to be one of my potential picks for the last man survivor pool scenario type of deal.
That's fair.
It's one of those things where I look at last week's matchups and I think they comfortably could have beat Brady if certain things didn't happen. Let's put it that way. Next game, Jags and Chargers.
How do you feel about this?
Well, if there's a game for T-Law to go Superman, it has to be this game because Herbert might be out. Who knows? Yeah. He does have fractured ribs.
Yep.
It might be a pain tolerance thing. Once again, early in the week, so we really don't know the reports. So it could be an interesting game, but it also could be a great opportunity to get some new players, especially, or get on a line now before Herbert is out.
Yeah, true.
So it's super interesting. I'm probably going to stay away from just a straight overall game. I do like James Robinson a lot.
Yeah.
I would be worried about Chargers' offensive weapons because who's their quarterback?
Yeah.
For this week.
Fair.
Even if it's
Herbert, yeah.
He's going to be hurting.
Yeah.
He couldn't even slide last week.
Yeah.
So, he's one hit away from being in rough shape.
Yeah.
So I would be careful about it. I would maybe look at Jaguars players. Ingram's getting more and more targets as a tight end position.
He is.
Kirk is really doing well. So I would look to see Jaguars. I would hope to see Jaguars sneak a win, but I had to lean closer. That says -7 Chargers.
I don't know that I believe that either, but I think that I don't know. It's definitely tough. Again, like you said, the Herbert injury is one thing. Like they've got, I don't know. This is a tough one for me to even call. I love James Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I like Doug Peterson, the coach of the Jaguars. Like I think
Absolutely.
I think they've got a good thing going, and I think with his mentality, they'll figure it out. I don't know if this is the one they'll figure out,
right?
But there's like too many unknowns
for sure.
And I can't, again, Evan Ingram, great pickup, if waiver wire, DFS
Absolutely.
guy, whatever. But
cheap too.
Eckler, I don't know. I don't know.
Short term, I'd be nervous.
Yeah,
short term, I'd be nervous.
Yeah.
All right, we have a couple games left, and then we'll get to the bold predictions coming up here. So Rams and Cardinals. We talked about the Rams earlier, kind of confused, I guess.
Yeah.
Your second team, the Cardinals, doing some miracle magic there against Oakland last week.
A lot of miracle magic. That whole game was miracle magic.
I will say Murray needs some help though.
He needs a lot of help.
He can't just do it himself the whole time.
He's down. He's down. James Conner got hurt last week. Now he's down. Rondale
Nothing
Moore.
serious though, right? I don't think it was like maybe a week or two, right? If that. Yeah.
Rondale Moore's hurt. We know it's Hopkins not around. So it's a lot. It's him and one of my bold predictions last week was Ertz being a top 2 tight end, and he was.
Yep.
And he leaned on Ertz a lot.
Yeah.
And it's because he's got
no one else.
Gorgon. He's got Gorgon. If you picked up Gorgon in fantasy on your waiver wire last week, good for you. You're a genius. Yeah. But that's who he's got right now. And I don't know. The Rams lost to the Bills, excusable. They almost lose to the Falcons, weird.
Yep.
If the Cardinals get more miracle magic, they're in trouble a little bit. But
I'm staying away from this game because of all of that.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. But Ertz again is another DFS guy, another waiver wire guy.
He's cheap. He is cheap.
Go out and get him.
One of the few weapons that offense has.
Yeah, just go out and get him.
Rams are tough defense. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But who else is he throwing the ball to?
Yeah, the defense looks different without the nose tackle Joseph Day and without Von Miller. It's a very different looking defense.
It is. Yeah. It's still scary, but
it's still
not
scary.
as scary.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Next game, Falcons Seahawks. I love the Falcons here.
Love the Falcons.
And somehow they're underdogs.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I just don't.
No.
I just don't. So I'm kind of lost here on what to say. Realistically, London, I think, is the real deal.
Drake London is the real deal.
Falcons are probably, in my opinion, the best 0-2 team right now.
Yeah.
Or winless team, I guess. There's a couple ties out there.
Yeah.
They're scary. I would not want to face them early on in the season. I'm still trying to figure out my identity as an organization.
Yeah. And I like the Seahawks are cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm after that Monday Night Football speech, I'm rooting for Geno. But
for sure.
But I like the Falcons in this matchup, and again, if you're looking for low value players or low cost players, and you're looking for guys on the waiver wire, Tyler Algier finally made his debut last week.
He did.
So
that's 15 attempts, whatever. Yeah. I think it was 10, right?
Yeah, he was on the field for I think 40% of the snaps.
Something like that, yeah.
And he got good work out of it. So I don't know. The Falcons are working their way towards a victory. Maybe he's included in the game plan. That might be a guy that you want to look out for. But go out and get Drake London, DFS. Go out and trade for Drake London if you're playing a fantasy league. Drake London is that dude.
Yeah, and he's just to talk a little bit about the sport card world. He's going to be a guy that I think everyone's going to be chasing. London. He's just dominant.
Chasing London, new band name. I call it.
There we go. Catch that.
Shout out Steven.
Next game, Packers and Bucks. Rodgers versus Brady. Which one of these Titans are going to win the game?
I got to tell you, I almost don't care. I almost don't care anymore.
So you're Rodgers then. So you're Rodgers. Just whatever. So. Yeah, it's whatever. It's going through life. Cool.
Is it Rodgers and Brady again?
Yeah.
I don't care. Evans is out. Evans suspended because of the thing with Lattimore last week. The Buccaneers' weapons keep dropping like flies. That was the whole thing going into last week. Is that the Buccaneers had no receivers. How were they going to beat the Saints? They beat the Saints.
Yeah.
it's Tom Brady.
Yep, for sure.
So they'll figure it out.
I agree with you, so we won't talk about the game too much. The one thing I do want to point out is because Evans is out, I would look to get Buck wide receivers. Perriman, Julio Jones. That didn't play last week, so he's technically rest. I know he has a little banged up knee.
Yeah.
But I think they're just protecting their guys for the long run, essentially.
I think so, too.
So I am looking at cheap Buccaneers guys to take those ton of targets that Evans takes up every single game. So, and then Packers, it's cool to also, he's going to pick up the guy. One of those guys is going to be his new Adam.
Has to be.
They're all cheap right now.
Yeah.
So you could get lucky for a bunch of receivers from that game. Something to look out for.
I like Big Bob Tonyan. Like I think from like a tight end perspective, if you want to roll a cheap double tight end package in your DFS, like go out and get Kelsey and then throw Tonyan in there and take the risk.
Try it, go for it.
You know,
you never know. This game I love, Niners and Broncos. So this game, I think, maybe not this game. I think 49ers with Jimmy G right now is scary dangerous. Like scary dangerous. Like almost Super Bowl worthy. And I'm going to tell you why right now. I'm not even going to let you speak. I'm just going to go with it because I'm like, this is like the game I'm most like amped about.
All right.
Jimmy G's going to make an extra $350,000 a win. A win. He's going to, hold on, let me just keep going there. He doesn't even have to win the game. He just has to play 20% of the snaps to win $250,000. If he wins that game, which he's a starter, so he's going to be playing every game, he gets an extra $100,000.
Yep.
Do you think the guy's going to be motivated to play?
Yep.
Especially over the fact that, cool, Trey Lance is the future here. Great. You didn't want to trade me. You didn't think I had value? I'm going to show you I have value.
Now?
I 100% think so.
I
100% think so. So I think he's going to ball out.
So I agree with you on the money.
Okay.
I agree with you that I think if he takes them to the playoffs,
which he 100% is
NFL ownership will relook at the way they structure contracts.
Okay.
Because he is the only person in the league playing for the incentives that he's playing for. There is not one player. Now, they all have incentives.
Of course.
Touchdown incentives, whatever.
That's $350,000 per game, per win.
Yeah.
Excuse me, per win.
Per win, yeah.
No, he's going to make at least $250,000 every single game.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he's playing for an extra $100,000.
Yeah,
which,
least.
like, in California, pays his taxes for the first $250,000, which is good. That's what you want. And, like...
So, if they make the playoff, he's making an extra, $5 million?
Yeah. Yeah, there's an incentive if he makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
He gets, like, another bonus if they make the playoffs. And I love... So, my Izzy, though, is Trey Lance the future there? Like, Trey Lance has that wicked injury. Like, do you...
I don't think it's that bad, though. I really think...
It might not be. I mean, it's...
I think it's going to be a couple screws and you're good to go.
It's the same injury Dak had, so, like, Dak's okay. Like, Dak's fine.
Yeah.
He's young enough, though, where, like, Bridgewater came back, and Bridgewater's ACL injury was way worse, and I totally get that. But Bridgewater came back, and it took him a while to play football.
Okay, let's... You're the GM.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your decision.
Yeah.
Jimmy G brings you to the playoffs. Yeah. Whatever, even if it's a first round out playoffs. What do you do?
I have to go with Trey Lance only because I think Jimmy G is going to hold me hostage. Like, if he's like, cool, I'm ready to the playoffs, what are you going to do? He's gonna be like, give me everything. Give me everything I want.
I wish I looked up this information before. Do you know his contract situation? Is he a free agent after this year?
Yeah, it's 1 year now.
Yeah. So
they structured him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good for him because people are going to be lining up to pay him big boy
the
money.
The only thing I'm worried about, if I'm the Niners GM, is that Jimmy G has glass legs, and you have, I think Brock Purdy is your backup quarterback now, which is weird.
For sure.
So, like, if Jimmy G goes down, like, you're going to have to look somewhere else.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you have two of your quarterbacks go down, you're going to be in a tight spot.
So I feel like, I want Jimmy G to absolutely crush it this year.
I think he is. And that's why I'm not even talking about the Broncos, because I don't think they have a chance.
No.
I really think this is going to be Jimmy G's, like, statement year. Yeah. The line is -1.5 for Niners. I think it should be more. I think
the Broncos shouldn't have won last week. No. So no. I don't. Something weird's going on with that team.
Yeah.
And I know Judy went down during the game last week, concussion. Yeah. But I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's new and everyone's still trying to get to know each other, or if it's like Russ might be listening, I got paid. I'm here to do I'm just chilling. Whatever it is. Who knows what it is? Last game on the card, Monday night, only one Monday night game. The Cowboys versus the Giants.
the Dak-less Cowboys,
and
mind
the
you.
undefeated Giants.
It's unbelievable. The Giants are actually favored in this by 2.5, which is like, what?
I got to agree with it.
Do you agree with it?
I do.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I think the replacement for the Cowboys is keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. Going back to our early conversation, I forget which game we were talking about. Just the Texans with Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
And the defense will handle the rest. I think the defense of the Cowboys is the best unit on the field.
I think that defense will eat Daniel Jones up for sure.
And I think that's going to be the reason why they sneak a win. It's not going to be a pretty win at all. It's going to be a low-scoring game.
I'm going to split with you and go Giants on this one. I
think
the Giants are going to go 3-0. I
Cool.
think like Barkley's back.
For sure.
And he's playing for something.
Parsons going to shut him down.
Maybe.
We have to bet. We have to get bets on here.
Yeah.
We have to do a personal. We have to find a game that
we have to find one
disagree.
game a week. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We will have that for week 4.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's dive in though into. I know we're a little bit over our time, but we just have fun with it this week. It was a fun week for sure.
Yeah.
Let's get into Connor's bold predictions for this week. So the objective is each week to name a bottom-tiered player that's going to outscore a higher tier player. So I do have another chart up. We'll use Fantasy Pros to kind of show you everything here. Let me get my thing straight here. There we go. So we got the quarterbacks. Let's go off the quarterback list first. Go ahead.
First one, man. Jared Goff.
Is
going to outscore Kirk Cousins. Even though Kirk Cousins has Justin Jefferson.
Where is Cousins up that high?
Cousins is number 7, I believe.
There
7.
he is,
Yep.
7.
Cousins number 7.
17th, outplaying a 7.
I think so.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think that.
I'll give you that.
They're playing each other.
Yep.
I think that Minnesota's defense is downtrodden a little bit. I think that Lions' defense is not downtrodden.
I'm liking it.
And I think Jared Goff and the Sun God and T.J. Hawkinson are going to put on a show.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I'm looking.
Swift,
I agree
DeAndre
with that.
Swift too. I
think that the Lions is.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, let's get to the running backs. Running backs, we'll get them up on your screen.
We talked about him earlier. James Robinson. Oh, what? Have him on my fantasy team. Chef's kiss. So happy that I got him late. I absolutely love it.
21st.
I'm surprisingly, and this is another matchup that's going against each other. I'm going James Robinson over Austin Eckler on this one.
Eckler all the way up to 5, top 5 for this week 3 that is.
Yeah, I think that James Robinson is the clear number 1. There's space for ETN, and he's got his role, and I think James Robinson is the guy.
I'm with you on that, especially if Herbert's out. They're going to want to kill the clock, if you will, and I think they're going to use both the running backs because they have to, and they're good. And for what it's worth, Travis got hurt. Yeah. In the first year. So, not that he's injury prone. He could just got a bad luck rookie year, but they might want to save him.
Another thing to think about, too, in that game is that you have the second best Josh Allen in the NFL on the Jaguars defense, which to be the second best Josh Allen and be as good as that Josh Allen is, what a name.
That was a great game. Josh Allen tackled Josh Allen. That happened last year. I'd love to see it again. All right, wide receivers, go for it.
My wide receivers, I'm a huge believer in Drake London. Drake London is the real deal. I am currently this week
25, Drake London.
I am not a believer this week in CeeDee Lamb.
Ooh, CeeDee Lamb's up there too, isn't he?
I am not. I think he was in the 22nd range, I believe.
Did he
23.
Fall? 23. All right. A little bit of a not. You would think CeeDee Lamb would be ranked a lot higher than a lot of these players, but just the quarterback change definitely switched it up there.
Yeah, I also like him better than DJ Moore, who's going to wind up somewhere around 16, I believe, 18.
There it is. Yep.
And I also like him better than Deontay Johnson, who's at 20.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I like him better than all 3 of those guys.
Another guy that is hot, but it's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see a lot of people not giving him the credit yet.
Yep.
So get him while he's cheap.
Yep.
All right, last one, and then we're done for this week's episode. Tight ends.
We got another callback to another guy I talked about earlier in the podcast, who's Pat Freiermuth. Now, he's number 6, so he's still in the top 10, but I think you want him over Pitts, and I think you want him over Waller this week.
I can understand Pitts because of London's success. Waller's interesting to me because, Adams, I think, might have a big game. But they're going to end up double teaming in the second half. So Waller should be open to get a ton of targets. So I like it.
I think that for me, if the Steelers defense is going to wake up against the Browns, I think they have to. They've been leaning on him a lot. I think they're going to keep involving him, and I think he probably finds the end zone and maybe multiple times finds the end zone.
I can see that.
So I'm going to go him over Waller. I think we talked about it earlier. I think Carr and Adams need to be the guys. I
think so too. Yeah, not much breathing room here for the tight ends though. I will say Ingram, keep an eye on. Evan Ingram, keep an eye on for the Jaguars.
Shout out, really, honestly, just like a special mention, honorable mention, whatever. 14, 15, 16. You got Evan Ingram, Ty Conklin, and Big Bob Tonyan.
We've talked about all those guys.
I honestly think I think that you have a fair shot at those.
For sure.
I think those guys can easily outperform Everett, Higbee, Hawkinson, Ertz. Easily.
And you're going to save a ton of money depending on which format you're doing it on. Taking a flyer, if you will, on one of those small guys to get a bigger name target in different positions. So pretty cool for sure. We'll see. You went 2.5.
2.5 for 4.
Right? Yeah. Last week. Yeah. So we'll see how you do this week. Some cool predictions for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Any final remarks for week 3?
I don't know, man. It's been a great first 2 weeks of football. I'm excited for Thursday because it's a Steelers game, but I'm excited for Thursday because football has been the most unpredictable I think it's ever been.
There's been a lot of blood in the water.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to continue throughout the week.
Yeah.
So, a lot of fun. Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
Hope your flight back is safe.
Easy peasy.
Easy, right? Guys, thanks for tuning in for today's episode. We'll see you back here next Wednesday for week 4. I can't believe we're already into week 4 going
almost a quarter of the way through the season.
Crazy. Yep. Have a great night, everyone. Take care.